Hi, I'm Elizabeth Johnson, and welcome to another edition of From the Source, COVID-19 Pandemic Edition, the program for North Shore television viewers to keep abreast of the latest breaking news and changes that have been occurring during the pandemic. I had the opportunity to speak with Town of North Hempstead Supervisor Judy Bosworth about what's happening in the town. Today I have the opportunity to speak with Town Supervisor Judy Bosworth. Judy, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Elizabeth, I'm delighted to be here. It's always so much fun when we have a chance to chat like this.
Oh, definitely. Well, the Town of North Hempstead has done such an awesome job of sheltering in place. What restrictions are being lifted in the coming days?
So, that's a great question because as we started planning for this, there were certain restrictions that were put in place, some of our own volition and some really because of Governor Cuomo's suggestions. But we had been planning to work remotely long before it actually came to be. In the beginning of February, I put together a coronavirus task force just internally of what would it look like if this really materialized. We planned for the worst, hoping for the best. Unfortunately, it was more kind of the worst that happened. And so we were set. We were all set to have our employees work from home. Like we have our 311 call center. It's up and running. We have it going every day. But our operators are working at home and they have computers and access to all the information because we prepared for working remotely. One of the things that we did early on, unfortunately, was we closed our parks because people were not exhibiting social distancing. And the most important thing was to not have any of our residents at risk or any of our town workers at risk. And fortunately, I'm happy to tell you, to your question, as of this past Monday, we have actually reopened our parks and our trails, but for passive use. So that means you can walk, you can jog. If there's a bench, you can sit on it with members of your family, but not for gatherings. So all the things that have been in place in terms of social distancing are still in place because we want to make sure that our residents are safe. Our park bathrooms are open, but only one person is allowed in them at a time. We've also reopened, because we're taking this very seriously. The need to social distance is important. And so whatever we can do on our part to contain the spread of the virus, we're intent upon doing. Our golf course at Harbor Links is now open. It's open in a limited way. There's no access to carts. It's walking only. And this is in accordance with what New York State is currently saying, and that's that they're temporarily prohibiting the use of carts. There's no access to food or beverages or the clubhouse. There's a halfway snack bar building, and so the bathrooms will be open there. But again, one to a person. So this is really just happening as of today. Our tennis courts are opening because Governor Cuomo said tennis courts can open. But you have to use common sense. If you're going to social distance, that means it can only be singles tennis. You can't do doubles tennis and social distance. So, we're hoping that people are going to use their own good sense to make sure that they are doing what they need to be doing. Our town dock is now open for boaters and for residents for passive use. But again, social distancing guidelines are in place. Everyone has to be 6 feet apart. If you can't social distance, you must wear a mask. No congregating, no gatherings. We're following the governor's instructions for marinas. One thing that I'm just talking and talking, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. If you could just adjust your camera again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. How's that? That's better.
That's good. Much better, much better, much better. Thank you.
Well, let's see how long that lasts. So we're all getting used to Zoom, right?
Yes, exactly.
So another thing that we've added back to what we're doing is our Sunday residential drop-offs are reopening this Sunday on May 17th. So that means the facility at Swama will be open. It's going to be open every other Sunday through June. And people can bring, their recyclables, e-waste, yard waste, household project waste, and rubbish, but not excluding curbside solid waste. No commercial waste will be accepted. And we're asking that our residents show a valid driver's license to ensure that they reside in North Hempstead, because this is really only for North Hempstead residents. That's important. So it'll be May 17th, May 31st, June 14th, and June 28th. And in an effort to make sure that we are not having undue interaction between residents and workers, we are waiving the fee for waste disposal. So this will help limit the interaction between residents and staff. No one's going to have to hand somebody a credit card, so that those transactions will not take place, in an effort to protect the welfare and health of everybody involved.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so a lot of things are coming back, but throughout it all, we were making sure that essential government services were taking place. There was the continuity of government, and going forward, hopefully, more things will be able to open.
So during this time, I know that government has been in place. So no employees have been furloughed. Is that correct?
No employees have been furloughed. That is correct.
Okay.
It's important. We are a family here in North Hempstead. Our residents, our workers, we work together as a team, and we have to be protecting each other. And so, no, there have been no furloughed workers.
Thank you for telling me that. While I know that Governor Cuomo has now extended pause, I think, at least for our region, because we have not been able to step off of it. You are on this joint task force for opening up the recreational facilities and I guess the beaches, because I'm assuming the beaches are still closed. Is that correct?
Well, actually, Governor Cuomo, this has really just happened. I think Governor Cuomo said that the beaches will be open, I think, the week before Memorial Day.
Okay, so that's like next weekend.
Yeah, it's like happening.
And
exactly.
So the joint task force that you're a part of, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening with that?
Yeah, so this is something that was put together so that the supervisors of Nassau County, and there are three because there are 3 towns,
right,
and the supervisors of Suffolk County, and there are 13 of them, have been getting together to coordinate park openings, beach openings, just how we're going to proceed during the summer. The idea is we're hoping that we can do as many things consistently so that one area doesn't get a rush of people because one town has something closed while the other town doesn't. So we've been working, it's been wonderful. It really was an initiative that was started by Supervisor Schaefer of Babylon, who's in charge of the supervisors in Suffolk County. And he graciously invited Supervisor Don Clavin and Supervisor Joe Saladino from Nassau County, along with myself, to be part of this group. And so we have been meeting, and we had a Zoom meeting that everybody was able to participate in.
right.
Just also had a call yesterday with the governor's office, trying to again talk about what supervisors would like to see happen, so that it's also being coordinated with the governor's office. So it's a team effort. We're in this together, and there's no room for politics in this. This virus is not attacking Democrats or Republicans or independents or polka dots. It's something that's affecting every single one of us, and we'll get through it by working together and trying to do what's best for all the residents.
That's wonderful. So are there going to be fees attached to going to the beaches? I know that in the past that we,
So you're absolutely right. At North Hempstead Beach Park, the fee was the parking fee.
right.
I believe that we are going to be waiving that while this is going on.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I,
Okay.
it's a hit in terms of revenue that we are going to be not going to be receiving, but we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make life easier for our residents and to also cut any contact that doesn't absolutely have to happen.
Right, exactly. Well, you've introduced some new programs, and especially under the Project Independence category. Can you talk to us a little bit about this new project called Neighbor to Neighbor?
I'd love to. So I will tell you, North Hempstead has the most engaged, active, involved seniors, I think, of any place. And I'm going to say not just in New York State, but I'd say in our country. Our seniors are phenomenal. And I always feel we have such a great debt of thanks to pay them. These are the people that raised their children here, paid their taxes here for all these years. And we need to be working together as we are to provide whatever services we can for the seniors. And in fact, it's a mutual thing because our seniors are involved, engaged, and give so much back to the town. I mean, it's a wonderful group to work with. So one of the programs that our Project Independence program is putting forth is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And it is a program. So the people who are involved in Project Independence are still meeting, and they're not meeting in person, but believe it or not, there are advisory committee meetings. I've been sitting in on them, Zoom advisory committee meetings, Zoom book club meetings for Project Independence, a lot of interaction. And not only that, there's the image of seniors not being technologically savvy. They're pretty technologically savvy, and we have a wonderful woman who's involved with the program who also, she gives everybody her telephone number and you can call her if you have a question about how to get onto Zoom, which is terrific. So our seniors are very involved, but there are some who may not be part of Project Independence. So that may feel that sense of isolation and a need for help. So the Neighbors Helping Neighbors program provides telephone reassurance by pairing up volunteers from the community with a Project Independence member or someone from the community who indicates that they would like to be part of that. So the participants will receive a friendly phone call from a volunteer offering companionship, reassurance, and just a general support, during these unprecedented times. The volunteers must be 21 years or older, and at this point they need to be a town resident. And the program is for any town resident who's 60 years old or above. So right now we have 60 volunteers and the program is up and running and has been very, very successful. But I think it's important to note it's not, and when I say there are 60 volunteers, there's a tremendous effort to pair a volunteer with someone who has shared interests, shared background, so that you're actually making a match. Kind of like how we hoped matches would be made when our kids went off to college with their roommates.
Right.
Didn't always happen.
Exactly.
But there is an effort to match a volunteer with someone receiving the calls. And they're not just told, here's the number, make a phone call. We actually developed a manual with suggestions, with ideas of good things to be talking about, to be broaching. And very important, they're also cautioned, they're not to give legal advice, they're not to give financial advice, they're not to give family relationship advice, kind of things that you might be tempted to do if someone's talking to you. But they're also told that as they're speaking to a senior, if they sense that the senior is in distress of any kind, whether it's through the isolation, whether it's through health, then they're directed to let a social worker know, let a nurse know, let someone from Project Independence know, so that it can be looked into.
That's wonderful, because a lot of these individuals live by themselves, and it is very, very lonely, and
It can be. You know what, it can be, it really can be. And I think that's something that's part of the challenges of growing older under times that aren't pandemic times. Seniors have a tendency to sometimes feel isolated. And so we
Right.
try as best we can to be interacting with our seniors so that they know that they're one of the most important parts of our family here, and that we care about them, and they care about us. And so it's just a great mutual exchange.
Now, under Project Independence, I know there's ability to get uh, some transportation to get food and necessities. Is that still in place?
It certainly is. When I say our services are continuing, not
Right.
only is it in place, but we've extended the hours because many of the supermarkets have designated early hours for senior shopping. So
Right.
we have, in turn, extended the hours for the free taxis to supermarkets so that our seniors can take advantage of that. Also, while this is taking place, we are making sure that seniors are not tipping the drivers. All of that is included because we don't want our seniors dealing with money, dealing with credit cards. We don't want that exchange. And along with that, we've also been supplying taxis for medical appointments, doctor's appointments, blood tests, whatever it is, at a much reduced taxi rate. During this pandemic, we have eliminated that as well. Haven't eliminated the service, but we have eliminated the fee so that as long as this is happening and that we have these great restrictions on being able to go out, we're making sure that the seniors don't have to be concerned about that, and there is no fee for that.
Now, are we managing in the town of North Hempstead to do all this wonderful work because we have a AAA bond rating?
So, people know, and I'm very proud of the fact, and I say I'm fiscally conservative, and I am.
Yes.
And that is why there's never been a budget increase that exceeds the tax cap. We got a AAA bond rating because of our fiscal stability
Right.
for the last years. And every time we go after bond reauthorization, we've been reauthorized with the AAA bond rating. And so we're very proud of that. But that's an indication of the fiscal health of the town. So we have planned, and so we have the funds. We have funds that we can use for this, because
Right.
when it comes to the health and safety of our residents, we need to make sure we're doing everything we can, and we are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know that all the residents appreciate that. One of the great things that are coming up is, from what I understand, drive-in night. And isn't that, it's been so long since I've been to a drive-in, but it has been put on the calendar, I think, for May 23rd. Can you explain how that came up?
So when I say we've been planning for a very long time, we have. I mean, the minute it seemed that these were going to be really unusual circumstances, we've been thinking about what the town needed to do. And I'd say early in March, and I very rarely take credit for an idea, but I said, we should do drive-in movies, because if people can't go out, what a great way. People can still be social distancing, but it's still a fun thing to do. And we kept inquiring from the governor's office whether that would be okay, because you're not allowed to have gatherings. But as we hadn't gotten the okay, we still went ahead and were planning. We searched out vendors to see who would be able to do it. And we had every detail in place. So at the beginning of the week, when Governor Cuomo said, oh, drive-ins would be great, we went bingo, and we were ready to rock and roll. And so that day we put out, we're doing drive-ins. And we identified a few of the town facilities that could accommodate it. The largest one, of course, is North Hempstead Beach Park. We identified Clinton G. Martin Park, as well as Manor Haven Beach. But we're looking at other areas in the town as well. So we announced it, and I have to tell you, within 2 hours, it was sold out. The first one is May 23rd, and oh, now I can't remember the name of the movie.
The Goonies.
The Goonies, thank you. One of my favorites. So May 23rd is the Goonies. The next week, it's Frozen 2. The week after that, it's, when I say we're ready to rock and roll, it's Grease. Okay. All family fun, a great way for people to get out of their houses, but in a safe way and in a fun way. So what happened was, since the first two movies like sold out immediately, we did add a second night. So they will be on Saturday nights and they will be on Sunday nights as well.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're trying to, I knew that people would like it, but I didn't know that it would be, this successful. And it is, and how wonderful it is. So we're doing that, and we're also, there'll be 30-foot screens, and people should not be getting out of their cars.
Right.
It really is. You drive in. We're not providing any place to buy food. If someone needs a snack, they should bring it themselves.
Right.
They can't throw their garbage out. They need to take their garbage home with them.
Okay.
And throw it out in their own homes. We don't want people getting out of their cars. What we are doing is we are coordinating a food drive with the drive-in movie, so that there's no fee for the drive-in movie, but we are hoping that those who were able to register will bring non-perishable food, canned goods, to start our drive, because unfortunately there are many people who are in need of help during these unprecedented times. And so this is a good way of starting to do that.
Okay. So just so that I'm clear on this, Clinton G. Martin, as well as Manor Haven and North Hempstead Beach Park, will be the source of these movie things. So they will.
Right now, the first one, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The first
Sure.
one is at North Hempstead Beach Park, because that has
Okay.
the ability for the largest. We had one screen set up, and when it sold out, we immediately said, all right, there's room for a second screen. So we doubled the number of people who could go there. So it would be 200 cars that will be able to go there. And the vendor is able to accommodate that.
Right.
We are wanting to have it at other places. I'm hoping that we'll be able to have different sites playing movies simultaneously, so that while it's at North Hempstead Beach Park, there may be a showing as well at Clinton G. Martin, and we're looking for other, sites as well.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely.
So you also have introduced new programs for children, for kids,
We have,
and
well, for kids of all ages. I will preface
that's
it.
good.
So I always think, no matter what's happening, you need to look for that silver lining. Like, what's the good that comes from this? And it's made us re-examine things and look at things, so that once this pandemic is over and we're able to return to some sense of normalcy, and it will be over, and we will be able to return to some sense of normalcy, but we're doing some things that we'll continue doing because they're just good ideas.
Right.
So one of the things that we did, I'm just going to go back to Project Independence, is we started creating exercise classes for our Project Independence members, because they're used to having exercise classes, but they can't go out to get them. So we've actually taped the classes with the instructors that usually give them, and we have them on North Hempstead TV as well as online. And they will be shown, if someone's used to taking a Zumba class Monday at 10 o'clock, then Monday at 10 o'clock, you can see it on North Hempstead TV. But it will also be available online, so you can access it whenever you want. So I will tell you, I remember when I first became supervisor, and I figured, oh, let me go visit this Zumba class. Big shot, right? I started doing the class. Within 5 minutes, it was, whoa. Sit down. because it's rigorous and our seniors are in good shape.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that they're able to stay in good shape. And just because you can't go out doesn't mean that you can't be doing these classes. So what a great idea to have them online, to show them on TV, because
Absolutely.
even during the winter, should everything be okay, there can be a snowstorm, it can be cold, it can be rain. So
Right.
this way you can still do it from the comfort of your own home. And we don't want to stop people from going out and meeting, but if you can't, what a great alternative. But we can't forget about our kids,
Right.
because our children, these are tough times. There's no school. We have, remote learning, and it's hard on the kids, it's hard on the parents, it's hard on the teachers. So we wanted to see what we could do to help with that. So one of the things, it was Earth Day, and we love Earth Day in the town of North Hempstead. And we visit, our town council and our Department of Community Services puts on Earth Day birthday parties in so many of the elementary schools throughout the town. We couldn't do that this year, but that wasn't going to get us down. So we
Right.
did a virtual Earth Day celebration. All the elected officials participated by reading books. We're all learning how to tape our, have someone tape us using the iPhone, downloading it to wherever it is you download it to.
To the cloud.
Dropbox.
Uh,
So you have every elected official either speaking or reading from a book or reading a poem, and doing some of the great fun things, musical performances, so that our kids, if their parents so chose, could get online and celebrate Earth Day all together using the link through the program that we put together. So, and it was great because it was a half hour of talking about the importance of protecting the environment. That doesn't go away. That's still
Right.
important, and we can't forget about it. And we have other virtual programming. Some of the highlights are we have basketball and football skill classes,
Mhm.
have kids dance parties, we have National Circus Project workshops, we have a reptile show featuring Eric the Reptile Guy. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's phenomenal. And if you see him in person, he's got these like really interesting reptiles. And only for the town of North Hempstead would I actually be there and have this like enormous snake wrapped around my yes. So pretty good this year. And we also did a virtual tour of Clark Gardens.
Yes.
I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but the gardens are
I,
so beautiful.
they are, and are they open now?
Well, now they will be open because
Yeah.
our parks are open. Now they will be, but up until now they hadn't
Right.
been. And whether you're able to walk, go there or not, it's still great to have this video. First of all, shows all the tulips, and they have a span of maybe 2 weeks and then they're gone. So we have that captured, and a wonderful history of Clark Gardens and some of the beautiful sights to see there. So all of these programs are running on North Hempstead TV. They're also on the town's website and on social media. And the importance of that is, as we're trying to get messages out, we're doing it through a variety of means. I'm doing robocalls. I hope you're getting them.
Uh-huh.
We're doing stuff on North Hempstead TV. We're doing PSAs, public service announcements. We have things online. We have things through our social media. We want to make sure we're using as many different mechanisms as we can to reach out to our residents. And we're also urging people, if they know of a resident that might be vulnerable, that might not be able to access any of these things, just give them a call, see how they are. It doesn't have to be part of the Neighbors Helping Neighbors program,
Right.
but it can just be part of your own personal neighbor helping neighbors.
Yeah. Well, I know that this pandemic has brought to light a lot of things, more family oriented. We've kind of gotten a break from having to run here, run there. A lot of these meetings that are online, like the upcoming board meeting,
Yes.
I've seen, actually, I've participated more now that they're online than actually going there. So I find that there's a lot of good coming from this pandemic, even though it is difficult. We love our freedoms, but we do have freedom. And I thank you for leading our area of Town of North Hempstead. You're
It's an
doing
honor
it.
and a privilege. You know that.
And we are so grateful that I have to tell you, your terms in office started with this huge snowstorm so many years ago. And here you are. I'm so grateful this is the beginning of your 2-year term because what better leader to have than someone who knows the people, who knows what we need and want. And we're grateful to have you as, the supervisor for the town of North Hempstead.
So, Elizabeth, I thank you for those kind words, but you need to know that when I say it's an honor and a privilege, those aren't just words. The people in the town of North Hempstead are among the most generous, giving, caring people who truly want to do what's right and want to help each other. And so it's just been an amazing experience. You know, sometimes things bring out the worst in people, bad situations, and sometimes they bring out the best. And I'm seeing so many situations where this is just bringing out such caring, generosity, understanding, and empathy. So we've got a pretty great town. And the thing that's important is we've got a great town council, we've got great elected officials, we've got great community leaders, we've got great civic associations, we have amazing workers, we have so many people who care so much. And, I keep saying we're a team, we're a family, and by all of us working together and doing the right thing, we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine. And thanks to you, look what you're doing. You're having this interview. You're spending so much time with me, and I appreciate it. And it's another opportunity to let people know what we're doing and getting these important messages out. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining me today.
It was a lot of fun.
I want to pass on the latest breaking news that has come from the governor. Beaches will reopen on Friday, May 22nd. Beaches will have to abide by several rules and regulations, including remaining at no more than 50% capacity by controlling exits and entrances and limiting parking. Group contact activities remain banned, including sports, and areas of gathering will remain closed. Masks will have to be worn by employees and patrons when you're unable to social distance. That's all we have for now. Stay tuned to North Shore Television as we continue bringing you the latest information that becomes available. In the meantime, be safe by wearing a mask in public, social distance, wash your hands upon returning home, and continue to stay safe.